All right, so as promised, we're going to start off with how to create categories and courses. So your initial category or your agency will be set up by either ETS or myself. You'll have access to that category. So for instance, let's just pretend that workforce development here is your agency, okay? The reason you might want to be able to create categories is that you might want to create subcategories within your agency. So for instance, workforce development, I may want to break into 3 subcategories of, say, soft skills, computer skills, management skills. Okay, so if I wanted to break it into 3 categories like that, I would make them subcategories of my agency category. Okay, so you'll be given access to your agency category by us, and then you can do whatever you want within that category. We will assign you as an agency admin, which gives you those rights. Okay, so let's just pretend that workforce development is your agency. All right, so if you're going to create a subcategory, first of all, let's just go back to the very first page of YO training. This is the home page. Okay, you want to go to browse courses. You want to go to your agency category. For this training purposes, I'm going to be going to this category right here. Okay, you'll want to click on it. There's a couple things here. As far as creating categories goes, this button is important. Now, if you were just creating a course within your category, you can scroll down here to the bottom of this page and add a new course. But for this, to begin with, I want to show you how to create a category. So you'll click on Manage Courses. All right, and there's a couple ways to do it in here. You'll see this. This is your category, your agency category. One way is to click on this gear and click Create New Subcategory. All right, so if I do that, you go in here, you can see it's under Workforce Development. You create a category name, you give it a description, you create this category. Okay. Another way is to click on your category. And then right up here, you'll see Create New Category appears. So you're within your category. You can see it right here. All right. That means you can create a new category within that category. Same deal. If I click on it, same screen appears, shows it under your category, or for training purposes, under Workforce Development. You fill this out. You click Create Category. So that's 2 ways from this page to create a new category. Once you've mapped out your agency in that you have your major category and then you have your subcategories, you can go into whichever category you want to create a course. So you can create a course within a category a couple of ways. One is from within here. If you're in it and it says the category name right here, if this is the right category, then you can click Create New Course. And this starts the course process. Okay, I'm going to show you all this stuff here in a minute. On the other hand, if you're not in this page anymore, if you're just coming in to YO training and you're browsing to that correct subcategory, I'm going to go to my subcategory right here. Within that category, you can scroll down to the bottom. Ooh. You won't have nearly as many at first, at least, to the bottom here, and click Add New Course. All right, so let's go through this. First of all, one nice feature of this is when you first get in here, there's a bunch of things that are collapsed. All right, so if you want to open them all, just click Expand All. I would suggest you do that because you need to look through all these. All right, so anything with a red asterisk is required. So you do a course full name, it's going to yell at me, and then a short name for it, shows you where it's going. This right here is whether or not the course is visible. So right now, as you're working on a course, you'd want it to be hidden. Okay, once you're ready to go live, you can do show. Okay, the course start date is when you start working on the course. You can set that to down the road if you want to, but typically what I do instead of worrying about that is I just go visible with the site when it's time to start. Okay. Course ID number is up to you. If you guys come up with some sort of scheme or plan to have a course ID number, put it there. Course summary is important. It shows up on the page where you're scrolling through the courses, so give a good description right there. Summary files, honestly, I have not used. I'm not sure how that shows up, but I assume it's some files you can add to the summary that you can have them download and maybe fill out and send in if that's an important part of your course. Okay? And then down here, it starts to get important. There are several formats for courses in Moodle. Weekly format is if you're scheduled. So a week on this topic, a week on another topic, a week on another topic. Okay? Topics format just breaks it down into several topics. This is the most common, I think, at least with state training. Social format allows you to use a forum. And then a single activity format is, let's just say it's one of those trainings that I talked about where you click through, also known as a SCORM package. This might be a good one for that. Or, again, if you wanted to do a certain kind of forum or any sort of single activity format. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, for this training, we're going to select topics. All right, so what that does is it changes some things. So right away it changes some things here. So topics format, number of sections. Now you can add to or reduce this number at any time. I'm just going to put 3 right now. Okay, so with hidden sections, one of the things you can do with a course is have a section not show up until they do a part of this first section or until they do it all. Kind of neat. Well, you can have them either completely invisible or you can have them shown in collapsed form, kind of grayed out. I personally prefer to have them completely invisible if I don't want them to see them. Okay, if they're not available, I'd rather them not see them until they're done. You'll just have to decide what you like better. Okay, and then course layout's important as well. Oh, and a side note, you can always click on these question marks to get a little description of what each section means. Okay, so course layout. This determines whether the whole course is displayed on the page or if it's split into each topic. So one thing about having all sections on one page that's become a problem for a lot of people with a long course is that it becomes what's called the scroll of death. The course is really long and you just keep going and going. So if that's the case and that bothers you and it doesn't work for that course, show one section per page, which ends up being one topic per page. Okay, and then you can go click an arrow to go to the next one or click a back arrow to go to the previous one. That works pretty well too. Okay, so forced language. Now, in theory, we have this set up so it's all English, United States. Now, right now, it's saying English EN, which is actually more like Australian English. And you'll see that they spell words wrong in our way. So if you're worried about that or if it doesn't seem to be working, it should be. Go ahead and select United States English. Okay? So then the news item, every course is set up with a form at the top. It's news. If you don't want to have that and you don't plan on putting news to the top of the course, go ahead and set this to 0. Otherwise, you can set it to how many news items it shows. So let's say if every other day you have a little something you want to tell your students, that's a good way to do it. You can also use email and such, but if you don't want that cluttering up your course, go ahead and select 0 there and it'll go away. All right, and then you can show gradebook to students or not. You can show activity reports or not. And then we get down to the files and uploads. This is set to go to the largest file, so just leave it there. You might as well have headroom as far as how big of a file you can upload. Completion tracking, that's the whole idea of this LMS. So leave that to yes. You want to be able to tell who's taken the course. Guest access, on the other hand, would allow you to let people to go into the course without logging in. The problem with that is there is no completion tracking. So I suppose if you had people that you wanted to be able to check out the course and not actually clutter it with users, you could do that. So you'd say yes and you'd give a password and you'd send them to it. But I wouldn't use it because it doesn't tell you who has finished the course. Okay? Groups is something we'll get into down the road. Groups can be very handy in many ways, but it's more advanced. All right? And then your agency can decide how these things are named. So students, these are the people that log in and just take courses. You could change that to whatever's appropriate for your agency. Like the Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy calls them something different. Can't remember what right now, but you can name each role differently according to how it works with your agency if you want to. Otherwise, a student is a student. You are an agency admin, and that's as high up as you can go. And then you can also assign course creators, which have a little less clearance as you, and teachers, okay? But you can rename all these to suit your agency. Okay, so once all that is done, you'll click Save and Return. Now for training, I'm going to have to put some names in here. So test course. Short name would be TC. All right, I'm going to keep that hidden. I'm going to say this is a great course. Topics, 3, good. I want those to be invisible. I'm going to show all sections on one page, especially for building it and showing you, okay? 0 news items. I want to enable completion tracking. All right, I think we're good. So we'll save and display. Okay, what it's doing now is asking me if I want to enroll users right away. I'm not going to show you how to do that right now because with State of Wyoming, people can just, well, it depends on how you want to set up the course. People can self-enroll or you can manually enroll people, but that's going to be another video. So right now I'm going to proceed to the course content. All right, so here's my topic course. It's named test course. I have 3 topics, just like I said. So now let's just back up and see where it's at. All right, so let's just say let's just say you're going into the categories. You go into your subcategory. Here's all the courses. All right, the one I just made is the test course. It puts it at the top. It's grayed out because it's not active. I chose the hide selection. Once you go show, it would be red like these, okay? But as the course creator, I can go into it and take a look at it. All right, so that's it for how to manage categories and how to create a course. In the next video, we're going to go over some course organization, basically how it looks, how things are laid out, things along the side, how you move your topics around, and those sorts of things. So join me for course organization next.